So, welcome. Hello. This is the first proper one of these, first episode of what I've called Language and Linguistics in Virtual Worlds. This is a vague enough title that it doesn't have to necessarily be video games, but that is the intended focus. I assume everyone watching is from studying language, but since there could be anyone here, this sort of grew out of random discussions in our studying language module in the workshops. Kind of a joke at first. The joke continued, and it has ended up being actual streams now. So the plan going forward is that we'll keep doing these and not exactly attach them to studying language, so it'll maybe run kind of parallel, so it won't replace workshops or anything like that. But after this week, whatever the schedule ends up being, it'll be try and make it semi-regular and for anyone to join. So the whole point of these is to basically wander around video game worlds, and we'll analyze any and all aspects of language and linguistics. So we might look at dialogue, whether it's spoken or written, the way they represent accents, if they do, just the voice acting in general, how the narrative is structured, all the naming, so character names, place names, the names of magic powers or futuristic abilities and whatnot, and just how all of this contributes to the world building and so on. Does anyone know what game we're playing? Let's see if anyone can guess from just a bit of sky. Is it Animal Crossing? Skyrim, this is a joke. Skyrim joke because it's the sky? Joke because it's the sky. Well, now. Okay, so we are indeed in Skyrim. So, if anyone who hasn't played Skyrim, I assume literally the entire planet has heard of Skyrim at least and knows some things about this. Smooth FPS. So this is very near the start of the game. It's a big open world game. Let's show the extent of the open world. So we're currently here at the Guardian Stones. Zoom is like this. So we've got this enormous map that we're definitely not going to explore even close to a percent of this today. But very briefly, game starts in Helgen. You're caught trying to cross the border out of Skyrim. You're taken to Helgen to be executed. Just as you're about to be executed, a dragon attacks, and all hell breaks loose, and you gradually escape. No one's seen a dragon for thousands of years, etc. Skyrim road trip. Yeah, yes, at some point, yeah. 300 hours on Skyrim. Is that all? Is that all? We can look at other early 2010s Bethesda RPGs, Hal. Yes, I know you're thinking of specific Fallouts. But still. Anyway, so that's all that's happened so far in the game. So we've escaped, and we're just trying to head to the first town, which is way down there. But first up, I thought we'd start ourselves off quite simple. We've got 3 standing stones here. There are 13 of these in the dotted across the world. You can activate them and they give you powers, basically, but you can only have one going at a time. So this one is called the Thief Stone. We have the Mage Stone and the Warrior Stone. So we can choose one of these, one of the 13 that are out there in the world. It's like Stonehenge. Is this a cult? there's these three here, but there's then individual ones all over the map that you can find. So just to start us off with something kind of simple, what do we think of these three names? We've got three stones. If we activate the thief stone, this will increase our stealth skills. Stealth will increase more quickly. The mage stone, our magic skills increase more quickly. And the warrior stone, combat skills increase more quickly. So what do we think of these names? One is for stealth, one is for magic, one is for combat. So why not call it the stealth stone, the combat stone, the magic stone? Why call it the thief, the mage, and the warrior? If you don't always go for stealth archer, what are you doing? That has always been my default. My most recent playthrough, though, is pure mage, and it is quite a different experience. Yeah, they're all occupations. Yeah, so they sound more occupational than just stealth, combat, and magic. Nordic myths and yeah. Basically, so this is indeed the land of the Nords. There's I'm pointing at the screen where you can't see it all. In the middle of the screen, those arches you can see up there, that is an ancient burial barrow thing. So yes, lots of it is quite Nordic inspired. Most of the place is a lot snowier than this. But yes, so who was saying occupations? Bubble of Joy earlier saying all occupations. Yeah, so they sound more like occupations than just the descriptions, the stealth, magic, combat descriptions. Sounds cooler. Call them by what they give you. So yeah, all the other stones are called things like there's the Lady Stone, the Lord Stone, the Atronach Stone, etc. I'll not list all 13 because that would sound too nerdy. But as Hal's saying there, evocative of hard class systems in older RPGs. Interesting suggestion there, named after the people that discovered them. So what Hal is mentioning there, the class systems in older RPGs, yes, they sound like, so thief, mage, and warrior are like archetypal classes or types of profession sort of in both tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons RPGs, and also older video game RPGs. Bubble of Joy's suggestion of maybe they're named after the people that discovered them. From the information we have so far, maybe. We actually know that that's not the case, but that's a sensible suggestion that, maybe a traveling party of a mage, a warrior, and a thief discovered these and named one after the other. Yep. Yeah, so that's, hang on, I want this other chat window up because it's easier to see. How do I divide up your name? Shan, Hedonia? Shan, there's lots of different places that I might be able to divide that up. Anyway, so let me see. Yeah, occupation, central to identity, and so on. So if we look at these carefully, so we've got a picture of a thief, a picture of a mage, a picture of a warrior. If we pick one of these, you'll see it light up, accept. So lights up and does a cool thing, but you also see the lines on there and the dots. So that's a constellation. So actually all of these are named after constellations from, in this fictional world, the constellations that we have here. So we can see all these, they're actually so these are like sub-constellations, smaller constellations in the background. But you can see, so in the background, if you can see the green cloud shape, not just this lock-picking one, but all of that green cloud shape is a thief shape in the background. And here the red we can see is a warrior. You can see the axe on the right-hand side. And then in the background of here, we have a mage that's sort of like a Gandalfish figure. You can see with one hand outstretched on the right there. This is where the meme is from. Which meme? There are hundreds of memes from Skyrim, sure. Wood elf, yikes. Yes, yeah, I didn't know what, I just, I thought I'd at least pick a type of elf, because there's lots of prejudice against elves and so on within the game. So it's sort of, that's something we can look at some point. Anyway, so yes, these are all named after constellations. So part of what we can say here is that the stones came after the naming of the constellations, because they have the constellations carved into them. They're each named after the constellation. So the thief stone, the mage, the warrior, the atronach, the etc. What race did I pick? I am a wood elf, a Bosmer. So ignore this to make sure we can get around the place a bit quicker. Don't want to run out of steam. Okay, I'm gonna get us over to the next little town. Nothing wrong with what else. Oh, hang on. Violence towards wolves. Content warning. They came at me first. Where's the other one? The other one got ahead of me somehow. Okay, this is the content everyone was waiting for. Long walks in the mountains. Alright, that's done. So we're going to wander to this first town, which will give us a lot more to chat about. Crispy fried wolf. So we're going to wander into this town in a second, and so just before we do that, KFW, oh dear. So just before we wander into the town, quick bit of info for the less video gamey among you. There's lots of dialogue in this game, and so some of it is more scripted than others. So some of it is scripted to happen at certain times. So there'll be conversations between characters that will always happen right when the player character, when you arrive, which means we can guarantee what conversations we're going to hear. Most conversations there might be, a set of scripted conversations between certain pairs of characters or certain types of characters that can randomly bump into each other, but you can't know when those are going to happen. They're a lot more unpredictable. So as we enter this town, there is one of these less common kind of scripted bits of dialogue that we know is going to happen. So once we enter the town, there's an old woman on the right who we're going to listen to. So just pay attention to her conversation, to what she says, and we'll chat about the...
A dragon! I saw a dragon!
What? What is it now, Mother?
It was as big as the mountain and black as night. It flew right over the barrow.
Dragons now, is it? Please, Mother. If you keep on like this, everyone in town will think you're crazy. And I've got better things to do than listen to more of your fantasies.
You'll see. It was a dragon. It'll kill us all, and then you'll believe me.
All right, so that little interaction is one of these few... what a rude boy. So done with his mom. Yep. He's so mean. Okay, so thoughts on this interaction, the content of this. So as I said right at the start, we would believe her, of course, because we were actually attacked by a dragon, and it flew off, and it did indeed fly this direction. You don't understand me. So she said a few things there. And yes, there's a chicken. Where's the chicken gone? Yep. High quality chicken content here. Right, so she mentioned a few things there. She says she saw a dragon. It was as big as the mountain, black as night, flew right over the barrow, and then says it'll kill us all. Then you'll believe me. Any thoughts on this interaction, the content of this? Never mind the chicken. Okay, I'm leaving. I'm going over here so we can don't have to look at the chicken all the time. What do we think about the content of this? So bear in mind, this is a scripted thing. So this is guaranteed for the player at whatever point they reach this town to hear that. What does that do for us? What's the point of having that as a predictable, scripted interaction? Exposition? Yep, so exposition in what sense? What is it expositing for us? I was going to come on to that actually. Swoopsy. Like that they named the town Riverwood. So there's a river and lots of wood. We'll come on to that actually in a minute. So Megan Jade 9193, who I will call Megan for short, feels more immersed in the game, like seems more realistic. So how do I divide up your name as now? Chibi Rocco, is that? World building, suggesting that they don't really see them anymore. Yes, yeah, true. So the fact that he doesn't believe her and is going, oh, what's this nonsense, shows that in general, we might have just encountered a dragon, but we need to know that actually, if I start telling people about dragons, they're going to think I'm crazy. They're not really going to believe me. So yep, some world building that generally people don't see dragons. Don't say your name; it's too basic. I can call you 9193 instead, if that's better. Make sure the player knows that they're on the right track, especially if it's a new player. Interesting, yes. So yeah. When you get out of the very first initial area, you escape Helgen. That's way back up the mountains there. You can literally just go in any direction. You're recommended to come here, and this is a helpful route to take, especially if you're a new player and if you want to follow the main plot involving the dragons. Then this is definitely one of the steps on your road. So yes, helpful like that. I guess it continues the game progress. Lets you know other villagers are starting to see the dragon as well. Yes, yep. So it, as well as telling you that no one usually sees dragons, some people did spot it as it flew over. So an awareness of this is starting to grow in the world. Keeps you grounded in the major plot points, says Michelina. Laura _student is a good name. Yep, keeps you grounded in the plot points. So it reminds you, as if you'd forget the dragon from 10 minutes ago. But if you've been wandering around like collecting plants and killing wolves, then maybe you need a reminder. Oh yeah, dragons. That's why I came to this town, and that's what I'm up to. Foregrounding, in the sense of what? Smooth pebble. What's being foregrounded there, do you think? Bubble of Joy saying it introduces you to their accents as well. That's true. Sense of the kind of people that live there. Yep. It makes sure we hear something of their conversation. Frick Frack Snick Snack saying, I always loved the names of locations: Solitude, Whiterun, Windhelm, based on location and imitates real life markers. Yep, so place names definitely something I want to come on to. We'll start with Riverwood in a minute. Character development, says Black Sticks. Character development in what sense? You mean developing those characters so we know that guy's exasperated with his mother, although she did see a dragon, seems to have a reputation for nonsense. Or at least for no one believing her. Maybe everything she says is not, in fact, nonsense. Every single thing. Yeah. Favorite part of watching people play Skyrim is them just leaving and not doing that main quest. Yeah, it's like dragons. Oh yeah. But there's Nern roots to collect over here. Did you find all the Nern roots? That's for crack. I don't even know. It doesn't really tell you that in this game, because in Oblivion I think there was a limited number, but here they just regrow. So. Such a bad quest. Nern root. There was the red Nern roots in. We're getting off topic. I got all those certainly. Foregrounding information for the story. Yeah. Basically, this is the beginning, so it is foregrounding some of the things like how people think about this, what the main quest is about. Look at that moon. Yes, one of the moons. Which moon is that? We only got one in the sky at the moment. There are. Is it two? Are there two moons? One is called Secunda, and the other is called something else that I forget. Well, yes, we'll get to why Solitude is called Solitude years from now when we manage to reach Solitude. I doubt we'll get outside of Riverwood today. It's already been half an hour, and we're in Riverwood, so... Yep. Oh yeah. All the the moon will gradually move across the sky and be in different places on different days and so on. I've been standing there in game for an entire day. Yeah. Massa, yes, that's the name of the other moon. Secunda and Massa, yes. Yeah, that's an interesting point. They've not really done much with the tides and things with having two moons. Some people named their child Skyrim or Dovahkiin. Probably Dovahkiin, yeah. Did you ever get to the Cloud District? Of course you didn't. That's a part of Whiterun. Yeah, we'll get to Whiterun one day. Anyway, so yes, there's lots involved in just that one little snippet of conversation that we heard apparently a day ago in game time. Another thing is, it's maybe hard to spot when I just jumped into the conversation there, but she was pointing up in that direction and said it flew right over the barrow. So we've got world building in the sense of she's mentioning other locations. She even points the direction to where the barrow actually is. Is the chicken still right? The chicken just doesn't sleep, huh? Everyone else is, everyone is, what time is it? It's only 9:22 and there's literally no one around. Well, they'll all be in the pub. No, the chicken. Anyway, so yes, when she refers to the barrow, one that lets you know the world is bigger. The characters in it are aware of their surroundings, so they're not just they are just like little robots, but they give the impression that they are aware of the rest of this environment. They know there's a barrow, a burial place up on the mountainside. which might tempt us to go and investigate it. And sure enough, there's quests plenty up there. When the son doesn't believe her, grandson doesn't believe her, she says, "It'll kill us all, then you'll believe me." What about that? World building? Well, what do we think of that sentence that she gives us? Oh, they've had their vaccine. We have a dog called Stump as well. Foreshadowing, possibly, yes. Sovereign God, let's go. Foreshadowing, possibly, yes. It'll kill us all, then you'll see, is at least potential foreshadowing of, look, dragons are going to end up killing people. Expecting the town to burn. Certainly, it is possible for dragons to attack this this town and any town. So yeah, foreshadowing in that sense. Though she does also say it'll kill us all, then you'll believe me, which I assume is intended as a bit of humour in the midst of all this as well, because it's if everyone's dead, then it doesn't really. It's no benefit to you to say, haha, I was right if you're already dead. Increases the threat, yes, yeah, more urgency to check it out because she sounds serious about it. Yep. There's too much wood in this town for it not to burn to the ground. True. Befriend Stump. Where did Stump go? Yeah, it's... And she also gives you a direction. So if you're trying to chase this dragon, you want to figure out, okay, no one's seen a dragon for forever. One just suddenly attacked me and it somehow essentially got me out of being executed because of what happened. And it flew that away. Okay, if I want to chase this thing down, if I want to follow this thread, you've got someone saying, basically pointing you in the direction, but with a bit more indirect rather than her going, that way. By the way, the main quest is that way, which would be far too obvious. This is nicely bundled into all these other things we've been talking about. What do we think of the dog being called Stump? We can talk to Stump. Stump will say. Yeah, not quite sure what he meant by that, but at least we can talk to him. What do we think of the name Stump? Stump is a good dog, fair enough. Sushi roll, yes. Needs a bath, says Georgia Faye. Yes, yeah. Shroopsy loves Stump. He's a sweet boy, says Lewis. They like wood too much. There we go. Yes. Tree Stump. Yes. Do we think that's why he's called Stump? I mean, he has 4 legs. He doesn't have a stump. Yeah. I mean, yeah. There are tree stumps around. Maybe really they love wood too much in this place. Worried that means the dog will be fine. Spoiler warning, dog is fine. Yeah, okay, yeah, Laura saying it's a sweet name for the dog. It links to the town name, identifies him with the town. So if people, I really identify with the woodness of this town, then calling the dog Stump is quite a cute name, and it does give him a good connection to the town. Why do we think it's called Riverwood then? Let's pop to the map. So we've got Riverwood. I'll have a look at the houses and things as well in a minute. So who was it way back? I can't scroll back that far. Someone said, I like how they called it Riverwood because there's a river and there's lots of wood. Okay, remember back to our place names discussions. Elements in this name are clearly, it's not worth me asking you, the names are clearly river plus wood. Why? Why do we call the town Riverwood then? There is a river. I suspect this might be the reason for the first part of the name. But wood is ambiguous, so what? Yes, yeah. Bubble of Joy mocking me, saying it's difficult to guess. Chibi Rocco saying geographical, Black Sticks, Michelina as well saying geographical features. Easy to identify. Similar to town naming, makes it easier to remember which town we're in, certainly. Bubbler Joy saying it's toponymy. Yes, yeah, sure, we definitely have a river here, which is flowing past the town, through the town, really. It's part of the town is in the middle of the river on this little mini river island thing. Sure. Wood is a bit more ambiguous. Sure, there's a pile of wood. There is also a wood, as in a forest over there. Wood drifts down rivers. The houses are made of wood. So what do we think the wood is actually referring to? Can your character swim? Yep. Is this even deep enough to... This is too shallow. Okay. Let me... While you're telling me why wood is in the name, let me find out. It's looking a bit rapid here. And then my character got swept downstream. Yep, look, we can pop underwater. So I'm not moving. The flow of the river is dragging me along. We can find salmon if we go towards the waterfalls as well. Anyway. Lot of chopped down trees. Maybe, yep, so maybe Schwoopsy. That's such a fun name to say. Lumberman. It's a logging town, says Hal. Yep, Laura saying could link to the town's occupation. Really, where are we? Hang on, I've lost thoughts, so we need to go back. It's quite far. Where are we? Yeah, fair enough, Georgia. Yes. All players can say Riverwood. It's not Aberystwyth. Yeah. Sittingbourne, yes. Sitting next to the stream. Yeah, you'll have to look that up and see if that's the case. Simple and humble start rather than starting you straight at the edge of the town. That's called Solitude, which just does sound a bit serious, doesn't it? But yes, yeah, maybe more to do with the logging, the actual look. They clearly produce wood here. There is a wood nearby as well, right? So there's clearly a forest, but river plus wood here doesn't really narrow us down to this location. We can see even in the night here, we can see the forest, the wood stretches way beyond this town, and so does the river. So the wood presumably is to do with this mill here, so with this sawmill. So we've got the river driving which actually I think we can use, the yeah, the music's great as well. Yeah, so the water wheel here, the river itself drives. If we just give this a quick hurry up, then we can start this going. And the water wheel very slowly drives the this lumberyard. We can watch this happen. So while we watch wood being cut, all right. Oh, there we go. Split. Cool. There we go. We have contributed to this town. We've contributed to the using a river to cut wood in Riverwood. Satisfying. Yeah, we can chop wood with an axe as well. We can keep going. Anyway, professional. Yep. Yes. This. Bet you never thought that part of your degree would involve some lumber chopping. All right, okay. So Riverwood, yeah, it seems very simple, river plus wood, but the wood is more ambiguous than we might think. But yes, it seems to be related to the profession of this town, the main function, the main export, etc. of this town. So we've then, is this the... Okay, no. Everyone's asleep now. What time is it? Oh, we're up to 10 to 1 in the morning. Look at us. I wanted to be a lumberjack when I was younger. Says Goblin Boy. Okay. I've lived out my dreams now. Tremendous. Yes, yeah. We love sustainable production values. Absolutely. So, we can't see this very well right now. This is the inn, which is called Sleeping Giant Inn. Why do we think this is called Sleeping Giant Inn? How might we go about figuring that out? Riverwood was easy enough. Sleeping Giant, we know what these words mean as well. Why would this be called Sleeping Giant Inn, do we think? Because inn for sleeping? Sure. Sleeping part seems to make sense. They're so creative with the names of things. Wait till there's plenty of nice creative names. Wait till we go to like Mazulft and so on. Where's the giant? Give us the giant. There isn't one around here. There are giants. They're not as giant as you might expect, but there are giants. Green giant. Georgia saying love folklore. Yeah. I mean, there's giants sleep there. Yeah. Who was saying this? Anarch saying a folk tale about a sleeping giant. Yeah, potentially. In some of the inns, you can go in, talk to the innkeeper, and go, "Cool name. What's with the name of the inn?" Here, the innkeeper doesn't have anything to say about why it's called the Sleeping Giant. Giants versus Sleeping Giant with. Your username was pronounced correctly. Wow. I don't know how else I would have pronounced it, but good. Bubble of Joy saying maybe it could mean you'll sleep like a giant, as in you'll sleep longer. Yeah. Bigger creatures tend to sleep. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, some larger creatures, I guess, sleep longer. But then I'm thinking of like cats and hamsters that just sleep. Yeah, potentially. Sure, yes, for a crack. At some point, yes, we will look at some of the in-game books. Perhaps we'll start with a different one. Yeah. There's reading. So, while we have a slight aside, there are in-game books that you can collect. You can just find them on bookshelves, steal them, purchase them, find them lying around in dungeons, whatever. And you can, in fact, just read them. So there are whole books that we can read and analyze the content, and there's all different types of books. So some of them are actual narratives, some of them are fragments of history, some of them are people's diaries, some of them are quick little notes about a treasure that is hidden somewhere, and all that kind of thing. Yeah, exactly. Oh, someone's awake. I think sleeping like a log. Who's that? Shanhedonia. Is that?
Thinks he can woo Camilla Valerius away from me. She's already mine, I keep telling him.
All right, we'll speak to Sven in a minute about that. Sleeping like a log. Exactly. That's perfect. But the sleepy log. I mean, their slogan could be "Sleep like a log." That would be good. Stealing is illegal. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's see. So I don't have an answer to why this is called the Sleeping Giant Inn. It could, as we say, maybe it's some folklore. Giants sound folklore-ish when we've just entered this world. Sleeping giant could refer to a, maybe it's in reference to one of the mountains. An interesting, vague story spoiler. There's someone who works in this inn who is part of a society that has been sort of hidden and sleeping, I guess, for a long while, the Blades. And at some point you essentially awake. Yes, some people recognizing what I'm talking about. Yeah, Delphine. Because the dragons reawake, the Blades basically get reformed. This society that's designed to, destroy the dragons. Sleeping giant, sleeping secret society here, maybe. Poor Parthenax. I've never ended Parthenax. I just have to leave that incomplete. Parthenax is something we get to a long way down the line. A thought I had while I was, musing over this name is that giant mountain up there, the biggest mountain in Skyrim, is called the Throat of the World. So if we imagine that as a throat, then maybe like the whole planet is a sleeping giant. To have a throat that big, got to be pretty big. What we need is a guest appearance by Todd Howard to answer some of our questions that we can't answer in game. But anyway, all right. Wait, can we see the shape of the inn? Sure. Let's. Have I seen enough of the place? Okay, let me. So the map sort of gets revealed as you wander around. So let me just do a quick loop of the inn. I don't think it is the shape of anything. I think that, but a cool idea. But I don't think that is gonna be anything to do with it, unfortunately. Stump agrees. We're barking up the wrong tree. So there's the shape of the inn, pretty standard inn shape, but interesting question. Time to leave the streamer from mentioning Todd. Never mind. Yep. So no. So I have no answer, but still an interesting thing to wonder about. Giants, at least to us at this stage, might feel like something fictional, or at least fantastical. So again, alongside dragons, it's planting us into a fictional location. Whether it is giants are real or mythical in this world, it's still giving us something fantastical to imagine. Yeah, we'll go and find some giants at some point, but not today. We're already an hour into this stream, and we have not even seen a small chunk of Riverwood. Okay, so a couple of other things that I wanted to look at. I do want to, if we have time, we can keep going because it's the end of term. What, you've got classes to go to? I did want to look at the Sven and Fiendel ridiculous love triangle quest. Before that, let's see, how much of the map have I got? So we've got, I need to go, okay, I've got the houses that I want here. So we can see each of the houses has a name. So if I go up to this, it says Riverwood Trader, so that's the shop. If we go up to any of the other houses, it basically just, if the building has a name, it gives you the name. But here we have Hod and Gerda. So that's the two people who live there. That is their name of the residents. Who else have we got? We have Fiendel. Yeah, we need to chat to him later. Yeah, keep going. Not even halfway through my cup of tea. Yeah, it'll be recorded. If anyone has to run off, that's fine. I'm glad anyone showed up at all. So we've had plenty of people chatting. That's already cool. Okay, one thing I wanted to have a look at here is a binomial is basically a phrase that is just two nouns joined together with an and, for example. So we might say salt and pepper rather than pepper and salt. So we have this preferred direction. We say salt and pepper, east and west, not west and east. 27 loyal viewers, cool. Still on 27. That's good. So we've got a few ands here. So we've got Alva and Sigrid both live there, and it's Alva and Sigrid's house, Sven and Hilda's house, and Hod and Gerda's house. Any thoughts on the ordering of these names? Because they're just names, could these just be in a different order? Could it be Gerda and Hod's house? Why is it Hod and Gerda's house? And again, this is not something I imagine was intentionally planned out by the writers of the game. I imagine that this was kind of instinctive. What do we think of these names? I'm going to just put the names up on the stream, actually, if I can find a way to quickly do that. Right, what are they called? We've got Sven and Hilda, Hod and Gerda. Do I spell that right? Gerda and Alva. And did I spell that right? And Sigrid. Okay. Let me put this somewhere useful. Whatever. I'll put that there. Okay. Hopefully we can see this now. I'll put that currently exploring up the top as well. So we've got these names in this particular order. Why? Let me get rid of the mouse again. Okay. Lots of comments. Anarch saying, hang on. We've got several people saying this. Georgia, Frickfrack, and Anarch saying male to female. So it's a men first, angry face. Male to female, angry face. Men first, women second, pointing towards men owning property over women, potentially. From who we know so far, it's men first. Yes, in all three cases, it is in fact male first. We only have 3 examples, so I don't think we can say for certain it's men first. When we go to other towns and have a look, if it continues, then if it's still male first, then that looks a much more intentional on the part of the writers, presumably to represent either men as property owners or men as higher social standing or whatever. But as Hal has mentioned, name with single syllable first, like salt and pepper. So it could be coincidence that Hod is the male name and comes first. It could be coincidence that it's male first, female second. If we go to a bunch of other towns and look at that more, we can get a bit more data. Because in all of these, so Sven is single syllable, Hilda is 2, Hod, single syllable, Gerda, 2. Even Alva and Sigrid, although they're both 2 syllables, the Alva, the second syllable is very, very small, where Sigrid has much more solid pair of syllables. So it seems to always be the longer name second. It could be that Yes. So, and a couple of other people mentioning this. So it could be shorter name first. And if you think of the way that you refer to your pairs of relatives, like if you've got you know, two cousins or that you always refer to in the same order. It's such and such, or an aunt and uncle kind of, or grandparents, or whatever collection of people that you refer to like that. Think about who goes first. Is it always male first? Is it always short name first? Any other patterns? So yes, so binomials, yeah, they're not always in descending syllable order, but there are patterns. So some of it is to do with number of syllables, some of it is to do with the particular sounds, which sound at the end of the first word, the way it transitions into the word and so on, is all of these things like play into the ordering of oops, oh, because I haven't moved for so long. Play into this ordering. We don't need that anymore. Let me fade that out gently. There we go. Age, yeah, all sorts of things could play into this. So we have 3 examples here, and it is male first each time, but at the same time, all of the male names are also shorter. So this could just reflect that female names tend to be longer in this fictional world. But depending what other data we get from other towns, it could be an intentionally male first. But we shall have to see. Where are we at? Just thinking what things to look at now. Maybe, holy chicken. Yeah, and we just had a bird fly over, which the shadow of which looked like a dragon, but it's just a bird. All right, we're gonna wait till morning so we can talk to a couple of dudes. 5 a.m. We've been here ages. 8. Do you think that's early, late enough for people to have woken up? I see people coming out of the house. That's cool. Laura saying got to go now, but thank you. You're welcome. Thank you as well for coming along and joining in and chatting, and yeah, we'll figure out how these work going forward, and how often they are, and how long each session is likely to be. But cool. Yep. Cool. All right. So what we're going to quickly do next, the last thing we'll do, I think, before maybe having a very quick look at a couple of other games, not to really analyse anything, but just to quickly glance at the type of language we could look at in them. I'm going to talk to a couple of guys. We have Sven and we have Fiendel. So Sven is the bard here, and he is a Nord, and Fiendel is the guy in front of us, I think. He's a hunter, lumberjack kind of a dude. He's a Bosmer, so a wood elf. And they both have feelings towards the same woman in town who is one of the people who runs the shop. So they both ask you to try and get the other guy out of the picture. And they both give you a forged letter in order to achieve this. So we're going to look at the way they try and make their argument, the way they try to persuade us as the character, but also what they write in their letters and how their letters differ from each other. So, is this Fiendel? Yes.
Greetings, Sister Elf. Good to see a familiar face so far from home.
What's your problem with Sven?
He's a bard, so he says. Occasionally, he finds time to do his job here at the mill. Thinks his ballads and sonnets are going to convince Camilla Valerius to marry him. As if she would say yes. An intelligent, beautiful woman like her wouldn't fall for that nonsense. I hope.
I hope. the audio loud enough? By the way, do we want the game audio up a bit so you can hear the conversation? Up. Okay. Let me try and adjust this up. Try not to do it too much at once in case we... Let's see how that goes. Alright. I can either say, you hope, you don't sound very sure, or I can say, you're right. When have words ever inspired feelings of love? I will volume up a tad before... Okay, I'm gonna put it up more, and let's just... Hopefully this doesn't blow anyone's ears off. I'm gonna go for the sarcastic comment.
I don't need your jokes right now, but maybe you have a point. Maybe Camilla needs some help seeing Sven for what he is. Could you give her this letter and say it's from Sven? I think I've matched that Nord's lack of cleverness perfectly.
Was the volume louder there?
I'll show you what I know. Farewell.
The volume to me is different to what it outputs to the stream, because, yeah, it's... okay. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the letter he's given us. Yeah, it was fine. Okay, cool. Sven is chasing Koala. Why is he living with Hilda? Is it his sister? Yeah, it might be. Yeah, yes, I think it might be. Is Hilda his sister? Yeah, yeah. I forget what all the relationships are now. Yeah, they casually have these forged letters on hand ready to give it to a random person they've never met before. Alright, let's read Fiendel's fake letter. So this is the wood elf pretending to be our bard Sven. We've got, my dearest Camilla, I yearn to have you as my own, washing my linens and my fine blonde hair, to cook my dinner from my stove and tend my house while I wander. Yours truly, Sven. What do we think of this wonderful forged letter from Fiendel? What do we think of his approach here? What does this tell us about Fiendel? What does it tell us about Sven? Bubbler Joy saying, I feel bad for this poor woman. Again, I suggest the two desperate men to fall for each other. It's not one of the possible outcomes, sadly, but there's probably a mod for that, to be fair. But yeah, Hal saying, hello, random stranger. I know there's been a potential apocalyptic dragon sighting, but could you help me get in this guy's way with a fraudulent letter? Fine blonde hair. Just Shan Hedonia. Oh, where's my other version of this chat thing? There we go. Shan Hedonia saying, just want a man to ask me to wash his fine linen, to be honest. Yeah. What poetry, says Bubbler Joy. Yeah. Frick Rack saying, appreciate that they're satirizing the sexist view of women. Yeah, is he on crack? Gonna frame it. Yeah, so he's he knows that this is gonna go down badly, right? He somehow wants Camilla to buy this, to believe this. Yet he knows it's awful and ridiculous, and that no woman is going to want to hear this. Yeah. Yeah, Bubbler Joy saying, I love the use of the word own. Real class right there. Yes, I want you as my own. Again, it's maybe a very specific word choice there. Frick saying, it sort of implies that women have enough autonomy that a letter like this is disrespectful. Yes, yeah. So Fiendel, who faked this letter, knows that Camilla will read this and think, you're an idiot. This is enough for me to decide to tell you to get lost. So yes, there's definitely an indication that at least Camilla has the autonomy to choose between these two people who are both trying an interesting route to winning her over. Yes, Georgia, yes. I also appreciate that Fiendel has written it like poetry with the line breaks, but clearly doesn't know how to write poetry. Yeah, Hal saying, it's written as if it's poetry. Do any of these rhyme? Own, linens, hair, stove, wander. Nope. Not even if I use a different accent. Nope, doesn't rhyme. But it's structured as if it's poetry. No rhyme, no meter, as you say, Hal. Okay, so who are we after? Where are we going to find Sven? He's the bard, right? So he's probably in the inn. Let's see what Sven's approach is. No, Sven.
Orgnar, are you listening?
Hard not to.
The ale is going bad. We need to get a new batch. Did you hear me?
Yep, ale's going bad.
I guess you don't have potatoes in your ears after all. Just make sure we get a fresh batch in soon.
Anyway,
Come on
we
in.
need to go find
Stoke the fire. Take a seat and get the cold out.
Stump is the council. The road is Georgia saying the road is really uneven. Need to see report this to the council. I mean, you can actually see that the type of unevenness, with it being raised in the middle, suggests horse-drawn carriages. So the wheels on each side dipping down the road. Attention to detail.
Yes?
Yeah, it's not. Where is Sven?
Tell me as soon as you've given Camilla the letter.
Yeah, it's pressing business. So, is that Camilla? No,
You
Gerda.
must be one of those wizards from the college in Winterhold.
So, while I'm looking for Sven, that's one of these random bits of dialogue. So she said, you must be one of those wizards from the college in Winterhold. I'm not, I've just arrived. But that has given us a bit of information. Wizards are associated with this college in a place called Winterhold. So if I'm interested in magic, there's a little hook, a little thing to tempt me to seek out somewhere if I'm interested in magic. Did you just mansplain my joke? No. No, I was actually, looking at the very, like the actual in-world logic of the unevenness. I
don't know you.
Where is Sven? Ah,
Do I?
in Sven and Hilda's house. Who would have thought? Not that one.
You lost?
No, hello, Sven.
You look like a traveler. Someone that has seen faraway places and heard new stories.
Okay. Fiendel wanted me to deliver this letter and say it was from you. Let's see what he thinks of the letter first of all.
What is this? The elf playing at treachery? Shocking. As if I would write this dribble. How about we play a bit of a turnabout with Fiendel? Here. I had to use simple words, but this letter should convince Camilla it's from him. I'd better get going.
Okay, so he's given us a new letter now to look at. So his is a bit longer. Dear Camilla, I know I've called upon you at your house many times, and while we may be growing close, I need to put any desires you may have for me aside. I am a true-born son of Valenwood, which is where that particular variety of elves hail from. And I could never befoul my bloodline by courting an Imperial, which is her race, one of the human races. I hope we can remain true friends, provided you understand your people's place in the Aldmeri Dominion and respect me as such. Sincerely, Fiendel. What do we think of this attempt? Yeah. Yeah. Smooth Pebble saying, yeah, sometimes it feels so awkward walking into people's houses in games. They could be having a personal conversation. You just wander in and go, hey, yeah, any quests? Anything you want to sell me? Shan Hedonia saying, he either somehow predicted Fiendel would do this, or he had the exact same strategy. The other option is that we've got some, video game kind of time skip sort of going on. We imagine that he stopped, wrote this, and then gave it to us, but we're not going to wait 10 minutes while he does that. Definitely more prose than poetry. Yep. Yes, Smooth Pebble. One of them decided to go for the sexist angle, one of them decided to go for the racist angle, or at least to play up the other person's. They themselves are not, neither of them are themselves being racist or sexist, but they're trying to frame the other as being sexist or as being racist. And yeah, as Hal was saying, playing on the Skyrim or the general Elder Scrolls perception of, he's not a high elf, but of elves as being stuck-up continental types. Yeah, Bubble Joy saying, these men really know how to win a woman over. Yep. Frick Frack saying, I ship the two rivals. The fact that they had the same strategy exactly. The enemies to lovers trope, yep, absolutely perfect, yeah. And Goblin Boy saying you're onto something. Yeah, yes indeed. But yes, I mean this, as well as just showing their own, the two, so Sven and Fiendel's attitudes towards each other, even this is giving us just a bit more of that world building of elves have the reputation for feeling superior. Whether they genuinely do or not is another matter, but this tells us that elves in general are believed by most people to be to think themselves superior. So playing off that in-world stereotype. Yeah, someone forced them to work together and go on a quest. Yep. Shanadonia, yeah. Writing fan fiction in the chat now. See, this is the thing where if the chat gets a bit too busy, in future I might need to have like Discord or something running separately so I can keep track of questions that are specifically for me, while the chat is then just a free for all. An interesting tactic, Hal. So what you can do, which I doubt I'll be able to do when he's just sitting looking at me.
You should come
like
hear
that.
me play at the Sleeping Giant Inn. For a small sum, you can even pick the song.
He's now trying to hack. Yeah. So I would be able to steal this this letter back from him if I pickpocket him and then give it to. I have a key to Sven's house. That's weird. And then give both of them to Camilla. Should I attempt to steal this? 56% to steal. That's a bit low. Stand up so I can hide behind you. Hiding right next to you to pickpocket something is a bit trickier. Anyway, yes, yeah. So then, oh, hang on.
I don't think you belong here.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it.
I think he
You need
may,
to leave.
he may have grown suspicious. Still 56% to steal. Oh, success. Okay. Now.
I trained as a skald. as
Oh,
was my
shush.
father and my father's father
Right, we
before
need to
him.
find Camilla. Which one's. That's good. Sigrid. Camilla's maybe in here. So I'm going to give both the letters to her and see what she says.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing.
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh, a customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
So there we go. Who was saying just before about the awkwardness of walking into people's houses and they might be having a conversation, a private conversation, and this one even ends with, oh dear, a customer. Love how Georgia saying, I love how Nordic the names are, and then there's Camilla. Yeah, there's quite a range of names. And again, we've just been to this one tiny village, so we haven't seen much range, but there's... How many races are there? There's a bunch of human races from different regions of the world, and then there's a bunch of mer races, which are the different elves, the orcs, and such.
Maybe you could talk some sense into my pig-headed brother.
Will do, but first of all, okay, I can give you both of these, can I? Sven wanted me to trick you into believing this letter was from Fiendel.
What are you talking about? What's in the letter? Oh my. He wanted me to think Fiendel wrote this? Thank you for telling me the truth. Could you talk to Fiendel as well? I'm sure he'll want to thank you for standing up for him.
Well, you say that. However...
You what? What are you talking about? Why, that jealous idiot. Thought he could just manipulate me into never seeing Sven again? Thank you for telling me the truth. You should speak to Sven. I'm sure he'll want to thank you too for defending his name.
Sort of. Okay, now I'm going to be in trouble from both of them, but whatever. Right. Thought he was her dad. He has a bit of a deep voice. There's normal elves like D&D. Yeah, there's high elves, wood elves, dark elves, orcs. There's Falmer and others that are non-player races, but you can be an orc. And then there's the Argonians, which are the kind of lizardy-looking people, and the Khajiit, which are the cat-looking people. Don't get anything for supporting the woman in the love triangle. Do we get anything? Maybe if I... Yeah. I don't think you do. But if we talk to these guys, they send us off on yet another quest. Indeed, up to that barrow that was talked about earlier. But I don't think we'll do that just now. We should probably leave it there-ish for now. What about experience? If you complete the quest, so if I go to the guys, and I probably won't get much in the way of experience because they will both be annoyed at me. At least you chose the morally right path, says Bubbler Joy. Yes. Yeah, the Khajiit are interesting. Yeah, we'll have to look at the different in-game races and species, really, at some point. Alrighty. I think we'll leave our Skyrim adventures there for today. Blackstick saying, do morals even fully matter in a game? Yes, they do. If you've ever played The Witcher 3 and you make a choice that you end up regretting, you will regret it in the real world, at least for a while. And in some games, the types of choices you make will affect the way characters think about you and treat you and so on, particularly in Fallout. If you just go around like killing people or just generally doing negative things, there will be people who attack you on sight because they think you're a bad guy, essentially. Yeah, as Hal is saying. Anyway, thank you all. I hope this has been interesting and at least somewhat informative. Cheers. I will see you next time. One last smooth transition.